Welcome back to the Absolute Podcast, episode 31. Today's guest is Matt Morehouse. He is a 20-year-old kid who started a business to originally pay for medical school, soon realizing that this business can take off and is going full head at it. Very inspiring story, very cool to see what he's dealing with through this journey at 20 years old, trying to do this thing. I don't want to get into it too much because you got to listen to the podcast. Anyways, it's really cool and really good insight to see what he's going through at a level that he got to at such a fast rate, and the headaches that have come with it. And he's also just a great guy, great character. I love him. I have a lot of respect for him. It's a great podcast. I honestly might be hands down one of the best produced, best to listen to. It was great. Got a lot of respect, and I think it's really interesting. And it's pretty funny. He's got some funny stuff. He's got some good stories, and yeah, I like it. I'm pumped. All right. Anyways, before we get into the episode, this episode is sponsored by Piccadilly Coffee. Could you imagine Piccadilly Coffee? I wouldn't go with any other coffee, that's for sure. Anyways, go to piccadillycoffee.ca, go to their website, and type in the code MitchellJones20, and you can get 20% off anything in their online store. You can also order online and go pick it up locally if you are in their local area. But if you're not, go to their website, piccadillycoffee.ca, type in the discount code MitchellJones20. That's Mitchell Jones, all lowercase, 20. Put it in. Get 20% off, save your money, and you won't have to spend so much on your next batch of coffee. Enjoy that. Enjoy your Piccadilly Coffee. Enjoy the episode. It was really good. Anywho, don't know what I'm saying now, so let's just get into it. Deal? Sounds like a deal to me. Dealio. Keep on dealing. Don't deal the wrong things. Deal the right things. Take that how you want it. All right, I'm done talking. Peace. So you're 20.
Yep.
You got your own snow removal business.
Trying.
So there's a paper. It said that you started this because you needed to pay for school.
Yeah. So last year I was just living at home, like, most people do when they're 19, and then I, decided to move out, and I realized very quickly that I could not pay for living on my own, as I was a janitor at McDonald's at the time, working nights, and so I messaged my mom and begged to bring our little rusted out lawn tractor with a snowblower down to the valley, and I just went up knocking on doors through Chapel Road and all through there, and then everyone was just slamming doors in my face and everything. They wanted nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
And then I got my first 12 customers, and then Christmas came, and then I met someone who was willing to give me the use of a bigger tractor for a piece of whatever I made with it. And then, because there's not many times you find someone who's young willing to go out there all night
right
in a tractor.
No, literally.
So I did that, and then I just kind of had a realization this summer. I was just like, I want to do this like big time.
Nice.
Like, I want to run with it. So then I just marketed my head off, and it just all is a blur.
That's gnarly.
It just took right off.
Do you mind putting that just a little closer?
Yeah.
Kind of like mine, and then bring it down just a tad. There, that's fine.
There we go.
Boom.
No, it took right off. It was crazy. It's been a dream. It's been a roller coaster, but it's been a lot of learning.
Isn't that the enjoyment, though?
Yeah.
That's the fun part. The learning part is
it's all part
out.
of it. I mean, I always got to remember that. There's a lot of stressful moments, but then when you sit back, you're just like, I'm doing this. I'm doing something I love.
Right.
Like I'm lucky. I'm not caught in doing what 95% of what the population does is just they go to work and they don't like what they do.
Exactly.
And they just do it, and then they retire, and they count down the days till they get to retire, and I don't want to retire.
Exactly.
I love doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I'll keep doing it the rest of my life gladly.
I will say you're a pretty inspiration. You're a pretty big inspiration to me. Just like the little snippets I've seen and what you've talked about, I'm seeing on your stories and stuff. I'm just like, this kid's 20, like a year younger than me, and he's like you, like you said, you're going full at it. Like there's no other option.
There's no alternative.
Right, exactly.
No.
You're going for
everyone
it.
always says that. Like, well, what if you fail? Like, oh, you're like $1 million in debt. What if you fail? I'm like, then I fail.
Right.
But I'm not planning for that. I'm not going to waste my time thinking about what happens if everything hits the fan. I'm just going to keep going at it like I'm invincible.
Exactly.
Because I'm just going to run at it, and if it doesn't work out, then I've already proven to myself what I can do.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, so worst case, I fail, but I had the guts to try. You ever hear of the thing? I think it's called the man in the arena.
No.
It's this quote. I forget who said it, and it's everyone is going to judge the man in the arena, but they're not in the arena. Like all the fans are on the sidelines, and they always have something to say. But the people that are either on stage or in the arena or doing something in the spotlight, that put themselves there. But for them just to be willing to put themselves out there, that's everything. The same way you're willing to do this podcast. There's going to be people that look at you and make fun of you and laugh and think it's funny, and it's the same thing with anything. I get it all the time. Just this morning I got it. There's people that just don't like to see people not following the norm.
Exactly.
And they get really pissed at it.
I totally agree.
Oh, it's funny.
That reminded me of a quote where it says, like, don't judge the world until your house is in perfect order.
Yeah.
And your house will never be in perfect order.
Exactly.
So you can't judge the world kind of thing. So
you can't.
I always thought that was inspirational. But no, it truly is inspiring. I think it's great what you're doing. I'm really curious on why did you choose snow removal? And when you were a kid, you also dreamed that you were going to be doing something with tractors, right?
Yep, for sure. I mean, I just, when I was a kid, I grew up in Amherst, Nova Scotia, and my father, my parents ended up getting split up, but my father owned an L5030 Kubota tractor, and he had a Pronovost snowblower on the back of it. And I remember I just loved that tractor. I don't know why. As a kid, it was actually, you can ask my mom, the first word I said as a kid was tractor. Like horribly pronounced tractor.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's weird. It's right in my baby book. But I loved the idea of equipment. I always wanted to get home from school early so I could drive on the tractor and just do something. I don't know why, really. It was weird, but everyone made fun of me actually as a kid because I was obsessed with it. My shirt was Kubota, my hat was Kubota.
Yeah.
Everything had to do with tractors. And then my dad, I went down to visit him here in Rothsay, which is why I'm actually in Rothsay. This is where my father stayed, and my mom's still in Amherst. And I went down to visit my dad, and he told me one weekend that he had to sell the tractor because he had some debt that he wanted to pay off, and he was like, I got to sell the tractor. And I remember my world just like fell apart. I was devastated. I was sobbing. I was freaking out. The guy came to pick up the tractor, and I was losing it. My dad had to send me inside.
Wow.
I tried stabbing the tires with a butter knife. I was losing my mind. And then, and then I just, from that day, I was on a mission to get back to that tractor. And in that video that I sent you, I say it in that little clip. I say, in my dream life, I'd be in an L60 series tractor. And that's like the one step up from the one my dad had. It's the exact same model tractor. And I just always wanted to get that tractor back. And then last winter, when it just seemed like the stars aligned and I was in that tractor again. But it was someone else's tractor that was lending it to me, but I was in the tractor again and I was doing it. And I was just like, holy cow. Like in that moment, I was like, I already achieved everything I dreamt of. Like my 8-year-old self would be pumped right now.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, okay, how big can I make this? It was like, okay, so if I got this far, I'm like, I can just keep going. So I just kept going at it. I just marketed and marketed and marketed, and it just, I mean, you're 19, 20. What are you supposed to do? Like, I mean,
know.
like if you're sitting there and you have an idea that for whatever reason people tend to gravitate to, and I don't know if it was my story or my ambition or whatever, the business just kept coming.
Yeah.
And like,
I will agree with this. When you see somebody making steps when they're trying to get something, it is very attractive.
Yeah.
Like when people see something actually starting to happen and they actually can know that you're going to grow into this thing, people actually will leech on. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because I find myself viewing other people going like, oh, that's gnarly. And they keep doing it and keep doing it. Yeah. So that might have helped out for you.
It's a roller coaster. I mean, that was the high, right? So like in the fall, everything was up. It was like every month, you're getting wads of cash, like every single month. And like, I'm 20. The most I seen in my bank account before this like fall was like 10 grand. And I was like, wow, I'm breaded up.
Yeah.
But no, I've never experienced, hundreds of thousands of dollars up front being like just every day. And
at a young age too.
Yeah. And then like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what it meant to run a business. I didn't know what anything was. I was just a tractor driver. I was just a kid that knew how to drive a tractor. That was it. And I was like, holy cow. And I started to realize this company that I started to go to school was bigger than I could go to school and do.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is a big company now. So I had to sit down. I had to realize that I had to drop out of school because it was just, there was too much. And then I started hiring people and, figuring out all that stuff. And then that's when everything just went right downhill. And that's when it's been a torturous winter.
Really?
Oh yeah. I've gone
this
through,
winter?
Yeah. I've gone through like at least more than 40 guys that have, like, the turnover rate in staff is insane.
Why is that? Just for drivers?
It's just a job. It's a hard job. It's like you're out there like,
well, weather's unpredictable, right?
And then, very unpredictable. And you need to be able to have people that you can call. Christmas morning, you wake up, it's said 1 to 3, but it's actually more than 5, and your contract kicks in, and you got to go out, and you're sitting there calling everyone. They're like, it's Christmas. I'm like, I know, but we got to go.
Right.
Like, and my life depends on it. And, like, they could just call in sick. And it's like, what's in it for them? Why would they go spend their Christmas in a tractor for a couple $100 when I can take all the heat?
Yeah.
And that happened multiple times. And, you got drivers out there that don't represent you. They don't perform the way that you would perform.
Yeah.
And they leave a bad job, and they...
Is that hard as a 20-year-old to, like, almost be looked at as with authority, but you're so young?
I still don't even grasp that I am. That's the biggest issue with the company. I have no sense of authority. So when I'm talking to my guys, I don't get upset like I should when they
Right.
deserve to get, punished for acting a certain way. I don't, because I just see them like, I don't feel like I have the ability to down talk a 40-year-old, but it's I have to, because at the end of the day, it's my money going to them. But it's just, I've dealt with a lot of it. Like, the company's struggling right now just for that reason, because it's like, okay, look, we got through the winter. We have hundreds of customers that are still very happy and that they're going to come back. And all I can do is make the service better for next winter. So all summer, I'm just going to be hyper focused on, realizing everything that I did wrong this winter and correcting it for the winters to come. Yeah. Because, everyone on the social media just gets crazy. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this. Okay. Is you'd be surprised if this podcast gets out, and it which is going to, but if it gets out to, like, the crowd out in Quispam, the last time I was on social media, there's like 20,000 views. Like, it gets bad. Wow. Oh yeah. There's a lot of people who don't like me. And it was never about that. Yeah. It was never about, they always say you're a scammer. I'm like, I'm not a scammer. I'm a young guy that started a business. And, it didn't always go the way I wanted it to, because I've never done this before. Right. I'm not a 40-year-old that, has tried multiple times or spent years learning about how to start a business. I'll
tell you, most 40-year-olds, I feel like, didn't try, though. Yeah. Multiple things.
Yeah, I know. There's a whole lot of them out there. They just like to sit on Facebook.
No, that's weird. Why would they call you a scammer, though?
Well, basically, so the way what happened this winter is the whole service I was selling was I wanted to take zones of the town, and I wanted to break it down into certain zones. Every zone would have a tractor, and then there would be an operator matched with that tractor. So it would almost be like that operator has his own little customer base that he maintains, and I'm just the guy that gets the tractor for them. Right. And then that was kind of the goal, and I believed, because of what I could do, that a tractor could do over 150 homes. And I know I can do that. I've done over 200 in less than 4 hours. I've done it. It's just having someone else do it, and now it's their job. It's not their company, it's just their job. And that brings the pace down a lot.
Yeah. and then is there detail out there? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and they don't do a driveway the same way I would do it, because it's not their customer. And they don't drive the tractor with the same care I would, because it's not their tractor. Right. And all this stuff. So that basically unfolded. I wanted to be able to do multiple hits. I brought this thing called an inverted snowblower. That's like my whole claim to fame, I guess. I brought that down to the valley. And it was supposed to work better than it did. And it will, because I'm making changes to the blower this summer, and they're all going to have scraper blades and whatnot put on them. And then it's going to fix the little ice buildup issue that everyone was complaining about. But the bigger thing was, I guess, just the first storm. There was so much buildup. Like you were saying, you get that momentum going. And in the fall, it was all up. It was up. Everywhere I went, people knew me. It felt like you were like a rock star. Yeah. And then it felt like you were getting canceled overnight, because the first time it starts snowing, and it's everybody's first time out. It's my first time being a boss. One of my guys called in sick. I had to be in a tractor, so I couldn't even be a first-time boss. I had to just drive a tractor. Then I have 3 other dudes out there who don't know what they're doing, who've never done snow removal before, and they can't get a hold of me because I'm doing my own stuff.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it took us like 19 hours to get the first round done, and people were mad, very mad. Like it was, and mostly it was because they weren't getting listened to. They would call the company and no one was there to pick up because I had to be in a tractor.
Yep.
And like when you're out there, you're just like, okay, am I going to pick up this phone call and let them scream at me, or am I just going to go do the job? Because every minute I'm on that call is a minute that the best operator on the team right now is not out doing driveways. So all that happened, and I just kept going, and that was bad. So from that day, I think that was a Tuesday. That was the first snowfall. I was awake till the next Monday, and that was the worst time of my life. It was the hardest 6 days ever. I had mental breakdowns. I was awake for 6 days. I was in bad shape. I was in really bad shape. I had a neurology exam for university coming up. I had 2 exams that were left because it was early in December, and I couldn't study for them, so I went in. I luckily passed the course, but I fell asleep in the neurology exam. I showed up. Everyone knew who I was because I walked in covered head to toe in tractor grease, sat down in the exam hall, and I sat there, and I remember just blacking out, and I woke up to the professor shaking me, and they were just like, "Wow, it's time to go." And I was just like, "Oh man!" So I just walked out, and of course I walked out, it was snowing again. I was like, "Oh." So it was it was not a good time. And then I talked to some people, and they said that I might have PTSD from it, and I was just like, great. And that's the other thing. People don't realize that you're a person. Yeah. Like, just because like we're on a screen right now, people can comment on this video and say certain things and forget that people are reading that. Right. And like I was sitting there and just a kid, and I guess I hyped it up a lot because I was pumped about it. I wanted the idea to work. It's not like I wasn't trying to like get everyone pumped up and let everyone down. I was trying to get everyone pumped up to keep going.
Yeah, you're trying to execute, but it just happened that
goal
and didn't work out completely.
Exactly. So it just kind of went from there, and then every single storm, I'm proud to say that we've gotten better. I mean, I've dealt with cycled through 3 different receptionists, like every one of them their own share of difficulty, not answering emails, not doing the job that, they're supposed to do. Yeah. Like if you're doing that, you answer an email and you answer the phone and you be polite. And then, you have all these things happening, your workers attacking people, your everything. And it's bad. And then like, I don't even fault them for half of it. I mean, there's a lot that I wish I could say that I can't because the eyes are on me, like when I'm going down the road with, a tractor that I dreamt of having my whole life, and actually a whole lineup of tractors that I've dreamt of having my whole life. And then people are standing outside throwing beer bottles at your prized possessions.
No way.
Yeah. And then, coming up to the lot and mixing water with your diesel. So you have to get all the fuel lines going. And people don't see that, like you wake up at 2 a.m. and you go out to do the job, but none of your equipment works or all your tires are deflated. Yeah. And you're like, what's going on?
Wow, that is wild.
Oh yeah, no,
that's wild.
It's weird. Like I never even thought it either. Like it's just snow removal, but people are. I don't know if it's. I'm not going to say it's competitors, but I mean, I definitely bothered a lot of people because of that.
Is there a lot of like self-employed guys that go out? They just try to.
There's
single trucks, just like that one right there.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people that do it more as a hobby or a second source of income because you can make decent money. And then there's a lot of like major players in the game. Like you got the big guys that are out there doing it,
who already have contracts in these big places. And
stuff, they're big companies. And I never started it to compete with them. I never started it to take out the guys that do it for fun because I do it for fun. I started it quite literally to get tractors. That's literally it. I just wanted to be around tractors. Yeah. And then I fell in love with snow removal kind of as I went, and it's just, I love it. It's fun. I love the ups and downs, and the one thing I could go without is the attention. I could go without that. It's definitely, I'm the guy that wants to be in a tractor at 2 a.m., nice mellow country song on, and just go move some snow. I just find it peaceful. I don't find it peaceful driving down the road, having beer bottles thrown at my tractor, and people flipping me off, and no, but it's...
And did that just happen this year?
Yeah, this was all this winter. Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this?
This snow? This is my second winter.
Second winter.
Yeah.
Why do you think they're?
I think they're upset because, well,
Do you think it's competitors? Because it doesn't surprise me if it was.
I mean,
you're a big name for yourself around where you're plowing.
It could be. I mean, there's
some evil people out there, man.
I'd hope it isn't, because there's a lot of people that are younger than me in the town that have reached out to me that are also in high school that want to do something, whether it's car detailing. Jack Ross, shout out to that guy. He's a great kid, and he really wants to do it. And Simon Osmond, Simon's Property Maintenance, he's a great guy too. And both of them, they really love it. Like they want to do it. They had the same drive that I had.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want nothing but to see them do it. Like, it's not, I don't see it as like you're taking money from me. I could do detailing. Like, no, I don't want to do detailing. I don't want to do anything other than snow. That's it. I want to have my specialty, and I want to just every year keep going until I am the top snow guy.
Right.
And not just here. Like, this is franchisable. That's what people forget too, is if once I get this formula figured out, then I can replicate it.
It's another way of thinking, it's like a landscaping company almost.
It's similar.
I mean, you're for snow, but you can kind of go the same avenue.
Yeah. And that's where landscaping companies go into, is they get into this cash flow. So, and everything's cash flow. I've learned that. Like,
that's the hardest thing to manage too.
Well, you're never going to own you're never going to own tractors.
Right.
You're never you are, but they're so expensive. Like, you're talking like $250,000 per unit. Like, these things are massive. These are more than people's homes.
And the ones that are getting built now, the technology and stuff is just
bad.
Raising through the
they cost so much. They have so many issues. There's so many regulations on them. And it doesn't make sense for a landscape company to go out and buy one of these tractors, because they can go buy something like more multi-purpose of a tool, like a truck. And they can take that truck, like the truck over there, they can put a plow on it, and that truck can turn 50, 60, 70 grand of revenue gross in the winter. Then they can turn around, put a trailer on it, and now they can mow.
Right.
So they have this tool that they can, pay every month on, substantially less than what they're going to pay on a tractor, and they can almost make the same money. But the difference is I don't see it that way, because everyone always asks, what are you going to do with your tractors in the summer?
I wondered that.
Nothing.
Really?
I'm not going to do anything. This year I'm going to trade them in. I'm redoing my whole fleet because of everything that happened this winter. I want equipment that's easier for people to, basically makes it my job easier. I want to be able to hire people.
Right.
And I'm not in a farm town. We're in Sussex right now. Most of my guys, I come down here to pick up to come drive.
Really?
Yeah. Like, in the valley, it's very difficult to find someone
kids
to drive a tractor.
I had the option when I was 14 to start doing snow removal with this tractor, that tractor over there.
Yeah.
I never did. But, a lot of kids that I grew up with, it's like driving tractors, what they learn.
Yeah.
That's what they learn on.
And that's the same thing with me. Like, I grew up driving a tractor before I could ever drive a vehicle. And it was weird. There's no one that can drive them anymore. And especially the big ones. Like, that's a 6430. So mine's pretty well the same size, maybe a bit bigger than that. I have two 6110Rs, but they're easy to me, and they're easy to the right group, but it's not a scalable business. You can't scale this business model with a tractor that size. So the whole point of having the tractors that size was for road speed. And if I can get my density, get enough homes, that means my price can come down, then I can move to smaller equipment, which means that's scalable. Because the small ones, like the one over there, that's a 3 Series John Deere, that's a hydrostatic. And a toddler can drive it. It's just a forward pedal and a reverse pedal. And that's where I want to be. So I'm trading everything in, and I'm going to get all hydrostatic tractors for next winter. And hopefully, cross my fingers, hopefully people can drive them and succeed. And then it's up to me also, where my failure was I failed at targeted sales. So I really let my drivers down in the sense that I had them spread thin. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
I need to be able to, as the owner, walk in and be like, here's your list, and it's like only 4 streets, but every single house on those streets we have. Because that's how you make money. You only make money in a driveway. And that means your price can be lower. You're not on the, in the driveway, waiting and doing all this stuff. It's just, it makes more sense. So that's kind of where I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible.
And if anybody's listening and they are like, why can't you just train them? It's like a snowfall. That's your business time. You don't have time to show people how to do it. You got to get out there as soon as it snows. That's the problem. It's like, how do you mimic snow?
You can't.
Right?
And I tried. I mean, everyone in the town, they definitely saw us, because all fall every day for 2 hours later in the afternoon, right on Hampton Road, all my tractors were practicing. So we had a lot. Cones were out, and the guys would go back and forth and practice putting the blower up and down, getting close to stuff, using the transmission. And I mean, that's like saying, you can drive a truck up and down the road, but can you put a 20-foot trailer in the back of it and back it into a lot?
Yeah.
It's different. And then, that first snowfall hit, and there's so many things that people don't realize. Everyone's like, oh, it's just moving snow. It's not at all. You got to be good at it.
And you got to be aware of like traffic. You got to be aware of house. You got to be aware of
everything, and the arc of the snow. That's the biggest
I got
thing.
plastered actually on my way here of somebody clearing out a neighbor's driveway, and I was driving and I didn't have time to slow down. It just went on my truck, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Oh yeah, no, it happens, and it doesn't really get. It gets easier, but the problem is a lot of people don't have enough confidence to just do it, and that's what I dealt with. I had a mix of two things this winter. I had guys that were too confident. Those are the types of people that would hit cars, hit homes because they just go in. And give them credit, they were going for time, which is what I'm always looking at. It's like a race when we're out there. Let's get it done, because even when we're all going full throttle, it's going to take 4 or 5 hours. So there was them, and then there was also this group that was so timid around the tractor. They're scared. Almost every move they make, they got to think about, and they're just thinking like, okay, I need to move it this way, lower.
It really is a skill, even in a car, to know where your corner of your car is.
Yeah,
it's one thing I never struggled with, but I'm not going to say women are bad drivers, but I do know there's some girls out there that just cleared out the front headlight, and it's just like.
Well, there's a lot of people that there's people that can drive, and there's people that struggle with it. It's just like anything. There's people that can do school, and there's people that struggle with it, and it's whatever.
Exactly.
But it is a skill, and driving a tractor similar to that size, mine might be a bit bigger, and taking that into tiny little subdivisions where cars are parked right next to each other, and you got to get as close as you can to those vehicles, or they're going to call you back. And I can do it again, but it's difficult to get people that can.
Right.
And I dealt with a couple customers this winter that, out in Vincent Road, we had a customer that was missed during a snowfall. And it always happens every storm. When you're dealing with hundreds of customers, there's going to be one or two that gets missed. There's always going to be that little margin of error that always happens. Yeah. And that also causes a big stir, but I'm dealing with hundreds of you. We're doing the best we can. We had a 99% success rate.
How do you deal with that? Next time you do their driveway, it's half off, or do you?
See, we do it all season, so that's the reason why I got as many customers as I did, and this is why I still struggle. I get where the customers come from when they say that they're I get their frustration. I understand that I'm learning, and that's what people need to remember is I'm learning. And I'm going to get better, and I'm not going to just back down. I'm going to take all that as fuel to keep going.
Yep.
And that's the other thing people don't realize. The more I'm not the more I'm going to keep going.
Right.
So that's just that just means that I'm okay, this is working now, because now people are looking.
Yeah.
But we charge by season. So basically, if you're with a plow company, the average in the valley right now is $90 a pass. And just the amount that we've been out this winter, that would bring every one of our customers up to almost $2,200 for the season. And, I don't know if the $90 includes tax or not. Even if it did include tax, that's still a lot of money. That's $1,000, $1,800.
Passes in a sweep on the driveway?
Yeah, and that's with a plow truck. They come in, they back drag it and do all that stuff. The same thing we do. And then, but I came in and said, $485 plus tax on limited snowfalls with a tractor.
Yeah.
And, an inverted blower and all that stuff. And, it went from 45 up to 615 in that range, depending on how wide your driveway was. And because of that, it just, because that's a price that almost every homeowner can afford.
Right.
That's less than I put in my truck some days. It's a good price, and I like where my price is at, and everyone keeps telling me you're going to have to up your price, because everyone that's in the business world says that I'm getting all the bad customers because of how low my price is. Because a lot of times, there's two different types of people. There's people that are better off, and $485 to them is nothing.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, it's not for what it is worth. It's not that bad of a price.
Right.
They come and do it, and
there's nice one service. Price that I always heard in business. It's there's one price to get you through the door. And once you're in the door, then you figure out what your price really is. Yeah. And you have to take the low ballers almost, if that's considered a low ball price. I don't know, but
yeah, no, it is.
Eventually, you will upstake it. It's just you have to go low.
Well, that's how you start a business.
You have to.
How are you going to get the business?
Exactly.
They're not going to go for the new guy with the higher price.
Right.
They're already taking a risk by going with you because you just started. But it's interesting. The way I find it interesting, because I was in a psychology degree. I was in a biopsych degree. So I just find it interesting watching people's brains work. And ever since COVID, it's gotten way worse. Being a contractor today sucks.
Really?
They ruin it. Because every single thing you do is recorded. It's put on Facebook. It's nuts. It's crazy to me. We're out there and we're not perfect. We're humans. If we make a mistake, it was a mistake.
Yeah.
We're not out there ooh, let's hit something today. That's not the goal. And we're not out there, oh, let's try not to get so-and-so to work on time. That's not the goal. But when it does happen, and in that moment, they lose it. Yeah. Grade 6 playground level.
Wow, freak out.
They act like kids. They go in little temper tantrums, and they go nuts. And I've gone to dollar stores, and they wouldn't serve me at the checkout because I guess they must have been a customer that didn't get out on time. And I'm like, okay. And it's weird because I never thought of it this way, but by servicing as many homes and doing as much as I'm doing, a lot of people in the town, naturally, they're going to know who I am.
Right. Do you think you jumped in too quick?
Oh yeah.
You did, yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm holding on for dear life. I feel like I'm in a cowboy movie right now. This is just a whole. I should have taken it slower. I should have learned as I went, but I'm just a hard head, and I was sick of being broke. I was sick of being made fun of for what I liked. I was sick of being broke, and
that's a tough challenge. I find you inspirational because you have something and you're devoted to that one thing, and you're just committed.
Yeah.
Which is, like you said, is different. So it sucks because people look at that and it's like, oh, you just like tractors?
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
yes.
Yeah, if it's what gets my gears going, why not?
Yeah, and it's anything. I mean, the receipts are all on YouTube. My YouTube channel goes back almost 9-10 years.
Yeah.
And there's videos of me. This is me. People can't say I'm putting on an act. They can't. There's no evidence to that. And whether I have... and everyone, the best is when they go, you don't need that truck. I was out drinking. I was having a drink with a couple of my friends, and someone walked up to me and they just go, I'm not getting your service next winter. I was just like,
as a friend?
No, just some random person. And I was just like, okay, you want a high five? I don't know. Okay. And then he was like, and I just said, okay, thanks. Right. And then he just turns around again and goes, you want to know why? I guess you want to tell me. So, I'm sure, tell me why you won't go with me next winter. And he, I don't like how you spend your money. I'm like it's stuff like that. I never realized that people were looking at me like that.
No.
If I go out and buy my friends a drink, they're like, that's our money. I'm like, what? It isn't, though. This is society. I'm going to use this money to get groceries just like your boss paid you to do your job, which is what you bought your clothes with. I don't like your car. Why are you getting upset at what I bought with what I earned?
Yeah.
And because that's the thing. When you get prepaid for a job, they don't think you earned it.
Right.
Because they think, they paid you hoping that this idea would work. And in my brain, it did. Because, we went from 19 hours and 4 tractors to, at the end of the winter, the best we ever had was 7 tractors. And 7 tractors with a whole shoveling crew with everything. And when all those stars aligned, we'd get everything done overnight before people woke up. And I actually, right now, if it were to snow, a big snowstorm right now, I feel the most confident I have. I wouldn't even really be that stressed. I know that I have guys that I can trust, that I can call. I know that I have a receptionist that I can trust, and I can just get in a tractor and I can do what I do, which is work. And it's just people, man. They're nuts.
Oh, it's gnarly.
Oh, they're nuts. Gnarly. And there's always the people that are...
You're not starting a business in a good time to hire people right now.
Oh, no.
Because you know how everybody's complaining about no people working and all that. So you are in a struggle point right there. And there's so many factors. But just being so young, man, I think you really got to look at yourself and be proud of what and I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying it really is inspiring.
I haven't even taken the time to soak it in.
Right.
Because I'm the type of guy that once I feel once I see the finish line, I stop running.
Right.
I'm a sprinter. At the beginning I sprint and then I slow right down. And if I sit back for too long and look in the rearview mirror, I'm going to stop looking forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I think everyone seems to think that I'm doing okay, but I don't see it that way. Because the people that I'm friends with, I got Stefano Narducci and Nick and Paul Vanderzon, and they're all out in Ontario doing this, and I call them and stuff and chat, and they're my age, and they make me look pathetic. Like I got Stefano, he's the exact same age as me actually, and he's got I think 24 tractors now, and he does like almost 3,000 driveways, and he's wicked, and me and him are both switching all of our tractors. We were on the phone a couple of weeks ago talking about it, and then I got Nick, he's taken off. He's got 5 different franchises. He's 21. He's doing crazy, and that's where the whole idea started. Because when I was a kid, I made YouTube videos doing snow blowing, which is you've seen, and then Nick did as well. And he had a small deer, I had a small Kubota, so we would kind of comment back and forth as like these little 8-year-old kids. And he'd be like, "Yeah, look at my little deer," and I'd be like, "Yeah, look at my little Kubota." Like,
That's sick.
yeah. And then anyway, he just blew up, and then I reached out to him and got talking to him. He was just like, "You should do it, man." He was just like, we're the same type of person. He was like, "This is what this business model needs." He's like, "Let's do it." So we both just kind of went on this little adventure, and now it's going crazy. But I don't know. If it doesn't work in the valley, like if my name is destroyed in the valley, I mean, people seem to forget that tractors can go on trailers and move. Like that's the best part is it's like, okay, I want to do this, and the reason why it worked so well in the beginning was the idea is liked. It's desired. It's an idea that is sought after, and the whole business pitch is a lot more than what most companies are pitching. And that is why it made so much money right up front. Like in 2 months, I went from deadbeat broke to like, what am I doing? Like I was like, holy cow, like I'm doing okay. And that's what I always tell people, like when they're like this idea sucks, or like what a joke and all this stuff. It's like, well, you believed in it. Like every one of you customers signed up, and you believed in that idea. That when I was just a kid standing at your door pitching an idea that I had, you saw the passion in my eyes and you believed in this idea. And the difference is between me and my customers now is I still believe in the idea. And they, for every reason that they're allowed to have as a customer, they no longer believe in the idea. And that's why they're going to be sadly mistaken when next year we come back and it's just boom. They're going to be like, holy cow. Because people don't realize that, I spent every bit of my margin that I had this winter on a new software. And I'm getting that software in August. Along with October 1st, all my new tractors roll in. So there's going to be a software that every time a tractor's pulling up to a driveway, just like Skip the Dishes, every house is going to get an alert on their phone that says, heads up, your driver's about to arrive.
That's gnarly.
So now I don't got to deal with that wasted time where the customer walks out, waves down the driver, makes them wait to move their car, because seconds are money, especially when every tractor's doing hundreds of places. So stuff like that I think is going to make it better. I'm going to have a full-time receptionist. I'm going to have a real store location. I'm finally getting that set up. So, end of August I can move in there, have a place for customers to walk in, and it's more about, I love tractors. I want my tractors to be in the parades. I want my tractors, like anytime there's a birthday party, anytime my customers have a birthday party for like their kids, free, take the tractor. I don't care. Like take it. Like that's wicked. Like I just love it. I had one of my workers take a tractor the other week to go to their nephew's birthday party, and one of my workers that I met him because he asked me for a tractor for his son's birthday party, Matt Shoop, and then he was one of the best guys I had. He stuck with me through thick and thin until he's still stuck with me, but we ran over his car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It slipped on ice, and the whole tractor went down the hill like a toboggan.
Wow.
And Shoop was just sitting there with a cigarette in his mouth, and the whole tractor just rolled over his Civic, and we were just like, okay.
That's
good.
Yeah.
That's
so funny. When you said, like, the tractors, you get, like, one tractor per zone.
Yep.
How many tractors do you have? 8?
6.
6 tractors? 6. I assumed you were just going in like an army, like 6, just running down streets, getting all the houses that you're in contact with. Because I assumed that your business was, all right, you're marketing, you're just going door to door, I imagine.
Yep.
Soon, after your first winter, I assumed that pretty much everybody in the neighborhood was like, oh, well, these tractors come and do like 16 of these driveways on this 30 stretch.
Yep.
Or 30 home stretch, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So might as well everybody. Right, that's what I assume. So everybody would just.
That is kind of the goal.
Yeah. So I didn't know if that would be better than doing the zones.
Yep.
Like I don't know long term. I don't know.
The only reason why I didn't go with the army, even though I think it looks wicked, I think it would look so sick.
Just like trailing down the street.
Just a big convoy of them burning coal and everything. No, the only reason I went with zones is just because I wanted my drivers to know their homes and basically have their own mini company within my company, because I'm basically like a consultant. I don't even really get to drive tractors much anymore. I try to place a tractor in a zone that has customers and then put a driver in that tractor. And in today's world, it's very, very difficult to find someone that can get in that tractor and do something that would make me look good.
Mm-hmm.
And the zones just work better because you can memorize your route, and our map is so huge that, you know, the homes that are on the back end of that, it would be forever until we got to them.
Yeah, that's true.
When you're in a zone, you can just do your 100 driveways that are close together, and that way that tractor is saving on fuel mileage, saving on all of that.
True.
But I don't know. I'm gonna play with it. Like this summer, a lot of thinking is gonna go on into zoning, into contracts. You know, commercial was never something I wanted to get into, but the only benefit I see from commercial is professional.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. You know, like dealing with homeowners, you're going to deal with a lot of upset, a lot of uproar, a lot of screaming and shouting and yelling. And it's just, and you got to hold their hand. You know, they want to call you for some reason. Like, it's not even snowing out. And I guarantee, I've already gotten 4 phone calls today. I'm like, it is sunny. The winter is over. Like, I'm not your friend. I'm not your buddy. I'm just a contractor. And you hire me to do a job. And if you don't, then you don't.
Yeah.
And that's pretty well the end of the story.
That's a tough one when it's like you're trying to run a company, but you also need to be like personable, but not too personable. It's a
fine line,
right?
Because it's like, I'm a friendly guy. Anyone that actually knows me knows that. Like, I'm a normal person. I'll go out and I'll play beer pong in my garage and crank up Willie Nelson. I'll have a good time.
I feel bad. I was gonna bring a beer for you, but I didn't. So.
Come on, I'm going home. No, it was, and that's the other thing. I mean, alcohol. That was a close one. When you're in the lows of lows.
Oh,
I've
really?
never had beer taste better.
Did you turn the bottle? You turned to the bottle?
I turned about everything. Not drugs, but I struggled with it, man. Like, this was my identity.
Well, when your mind is flooded with just like problem and situation and figuring out constantly.
Oh yeah.
It's like there's nothing else but just find advice.
I'm not the guy that was big on mental health. I was more the guy that was like, oh, shut up, grow up. Like, I was like, suck it up, buttercup. That guy. Like, I mean, I was dairy farming as a kid and haying and driving tractors and running dirt bikes. Like, I wasn't used to my brain. Like, I just never cared enough. And I always thought I was tough. I always thought I was like that guy, like the masculine dude. But no, it was like, when your brain gets overloaded, you shut down.
Yep.
And like, my whole body just shut down. I was awake all night just sweating. I'd wake up soaked, bed would be soaked, sweating, because your soul wants this so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you fought so hard to get here, and not a single person is on your side. And the only one left to keep going is you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was lucky enough that a couple of the people that I had around me that were working for me at the time, they kind of stepped up. And when I had this big mental breakdown, they were able to help keep me on my feet. But it was never easy. Like, one of my guys who I'm going to be forever grateful for, his name's Connor. He messaged me after that first storm because I was all over the internet. Like, it was blowing up. News channels were calling me. We came back to the lot. There was a news company there, and I was screaming at them. I was just like, put your damn TV cameras down. Like, this isn't a movie. Like, I was losing it. And it's just a whole thing. And then Bell Alliant reaching out. They want to make a TV show. And then I'm sitting there, and I'm like, the last thing I want right now is more attention. Like,
right.
you want to talk about seeing a town freak out? Have camera crews with us now. Like, man, they would go ballistic. And I was just like, okay, I can't. I was like, I can't do this. And my whole brain just shut down. I was scared to go outside. Anytime I got outside of my house, anxiety just went through the roof. And because I don't know if everyone was looking at me or if it just felt like everybody was, but it seemed like I couldn't go anywhere without catching somebody's glare. Like, somebody would just and still, like, I still get it. And just driving here, it might have been because I get a couple of the kids that are here that go to school here, they know me because I hire some of them. Mm-hmm. And I was just driving here, and someone had their window down, they're like, Dr.Snow. And it's like, I can't tell if they're joking or not.
Yeah.
And it's like, but in my brain, I'm always like, they're trying to like make fun of me.
Yeah.
They're trying to come at me. And that's where I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And now I'm at this pace, like this, I'm in this nice spot right now. I got this blanket on of not care. And it took a long time to get it.
Yeah.
Because I spoke to a lot of company owners in the Valley that do contracting, and they just said that my biggest flaw was I cared. they were like, they get it all the time too. It's just part of being in the business, you know, like people freak out and then they forget. That's just part of it. That's why no contracting business has really got good reviews, because no one's going to leave a 5-star review.
Right.
Who's going to waste their time?
Nobody's 100% satisfied.
Yeah. Like
not too often, I guess.
No. And if you are satisfied, if you're like, that's a really good job, then you go about your day.
Mm-hmm.
You don't waste your time to write a review.
Right.
The only time you're going to get people writing reviews is when they're 1-star reviews, because they're mad people.
Exactly.
And I mean, I had one guy write a 1-star review, and I called him to ask why, and he goes, "Sorry, me and my wife are just going through something right now." And I'm like, well, how's that my problem?
Yeah.
Like, and like, you get the weirdest stuff as Snow. Like, you'd swear if their dog runs away, my fault. Everything.
That's
global
so
warming,
weird.
that's my fault. Actually, I did have someone get mad about that, about us hurting the environment.
Huh.
Yeah. No, it's just, I get it all. And once people get a target online, you just become that root. And it felt like I was being canceled.
That
and
is so strange. That is so weird. I mean, I understand the people's perspective, but it's just, why go out of your way to like do that?
Oh, I don't know who it is. And if you're watching this, I'm going to find you. There's someone that every single day at 8 a.m. will go on my website and submit a contact form under the alias mattasascammer at 123gmail.com. And all they'll say is kill yourself. Every day.
Wow.
Every single day, I get this thread that comes through. And I don't know who it is. It could be a kid. It could be a little group of 8-year-olds that think it's funny. But it's just like I don't know why people feel the need to invest time into watching me fail when they're not going to get to see it. So it's like,
right.
I don't know what you guys are waiting for. There's not going to be no grand finale here. Like, you guys can watch me climb all you want, but
yeah, it always confused me when it came to, I never was big into video games, but when people, or you'd see videos on YouTube where people are like, they can just say whatever they want behind the mic.
Oh yeah.
Or even YouTube comments, they're the worst.
Oh,
just like people just type in whatever you want. And I never understood why, what's the need? What's the point?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's actually real or fake, or I have no idea.
Real. It's not. None of it's real. I've confronted so many people in my time doing this that they're keyboard warriors. I've had customers tell me that to my face. They've said, I'm just a keyboard warrior.
They're called thumb gangsters.
Yeah, literally. And they you know, like I've had customers' kids get mad. I'm like, you're the kid. Like, your parents bought the service. You're living at home, and you're the same age as me, and they're freaking out at me as if it's their house. Well, you're a horrible service. It's
weird.
like, what are you doing?
That's
It's like,
so crazy.
You're living at home, yelling at me.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying. Like, I'm trying my best. Like, I don't know why you're yelling at me. And they go online and they type, and then if you see them around, you just go, hey, want to talk? Oh, they're just shaking. It's like, I don't understand what the whole thing is. Like, they get online. And I'll get online and like I'll speak to you, and like I'm not scared of the internet, but I'm the same in person.
Right.
Like if there's an issue, come talk to me.
Yeah. You on your video and you now, I don't see a difference. Like,
no, it's just, and I came back from that Irving meeting. It was the same thing. I met with them, and they knew me because of the uproar, and they were, the one thing the guy said to me there was, he said, you know, you've been through a lot. And he said, people don't realize what it actually means to live through what I did this winter and the mental strain.
Nobody better than a billionaire
yeah and,
company.
Yeah. And he just said, like, to just keep going, because he said anyone else would have given up if they were just doing it for money.
Right.
But he said, you're doing it because you love it.
It's the same thing if I had a super controversy moment or a super crazy scandal that happened on the podcast.
Yeah.
You get all this publicity, and then people think it's just the end. But if you just keep going,
you can work through anything.
Right.
You can work through anything. And people don't realize that failure, in my mind, is impossible. Like, they might think, oh, you, like, say in this hypothetical world, oh, he lost his truck, he lost his tractors, he's lost everything. I still didn't fail. I'm still going to put on my Dr.Snow removal jacket. I'm going to grab my shovel that I can get at Home Hardware, and I'm going to walk outside, and I'm still going to do driveways.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not going to fail because I'm just going to keep going. Like, it's at one of these times, and I think this is the time finally, it's going to stick.
Yeah.
And it's going to keep going. And I mean, I came up with the name on a Wix name generator. I was just sitting there.
I've been there.
Yeah, I came up with the name on a little generator, and then it popped up with all these recommended logos based on like a personality test or whatever. And then I seen that one, and then I just was like, I like that. Because, like I said, at the time I was in school and I needed money. I was broke. I was so broke. I had this time last year I was driving a rusted out 2003 TDI, 310,000 kilometers on it. Oh yeah. Oh, it should not have been inspected. Like if you right by the clutch, if you put your foot down too firm, there's a big hole, so you could feel under the carpet. There, your hole just
spot for your heel to rest. You know.
Yeah,
that's funny. Man, people need to take inspiration from you though.
It's just life's a game. And that's the same thing, you know, I've heard it, I forget where I heard it actually, but I've heard it from someone, you know, everyone spends like, 8, 9, 10 hours a day playing this like games like GTA. Life is GTA.
Yeah.
I'm a character, and I'm seeing the world through my body, so I'm going to do whatever I want to do every single day that I'm alive.
I agree.
And that's it.
I agree.
Like everyone guides success based on I'm going to go to university, I'm going to get this piece of paper, and then I'm going to go work a job that pays me good. I'm like, okay, what's money? I don't care. Like I'm telling you right now, like I've had hundreds of thousands of dollars in my bank account, and it literally is not that good. It's so overrated. Like you get it, and you're like, for a week, you're probably like pretty pumped about it. You like turn on a little bit of Drake or whatever, and just like go like, yeah. Like,
but it doesn't change anything about you. You know,
you walk out, and the people that are real friends to you, they look at you the exact same way. You wear the same clothes. If you're smart, you wear the same clothes, and when you're alone, you're still you. And you know, you go through these moments where you might make a couple dumb decisions because you're young, but it's, especially in snow, that's nothing. Like that's not a lot of money. Like you're dealing, like I just said, like those tractors cost a fortune.
Yeah.
And
just imagine you're almost looking at $1 million of equipment.
Oh yeah,
really.
Yep. And it's crazy. I mean, it blows my mind to even think that I own that, but it's not what it's made out to be at all in any way, shape, or form. And the one I was telling this actually to the Irving people today when I was talking to them. I knew it was my dream. Like I'm living my dream. I knew this was my dream, but I never realized that this was part of my dream.
Right.
So, but because it is part of my dream, and I realize that they're a package deal, I have to learn to love it.
Right.
And that's where I'm trying to train myself, which is impossible, I guess, because it's just I care about it because I love the idea. If I was just in it for money, I'd be like, whatever, you don't like it, I don't care. But I care because I like what I do, and I want to do it to help people. Like if I can make this work, I'm going to be able to offer snow removal at a price that literally anyone can afford. And like, you know, people like seniors are on pensions. They need an affordable service, especially with diesel prices today, everything. They don't need to be paying $2,000 for moving snow.
Yeah.
Like when I can, with this idea, if it works, I can get it down to a price point where you can actually afford it now. And of course, money's always going to have to be involved. Like I can't do this for free.
Right.
But it's not really about a get rich quick scheme at all. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. And I know people see the truck and they're like, wow, look how good he's doing.
A beautiful truck.
It's a nice truck. And that was one of those moments where, you know, you make a stupid decision, you're young and you got a lot of money. And it was, I don't even really like it. I mean, I like the wrap. I think it's kind of nice, but the rest of it, I mean, it was a mistake, but at the same time, you know, it didn't hurt me any. It was, and I always told myself, you can ask, I had an ex-girlfriend, and I told her the whole time, because like we split up right when I was starting to kind of pop off. And
you can give her the time you.
Yeah, no, I really couldn't.
Yeah.
I have no time. Like that was really what it came down to. She's a great girl, but I had no time.
Trust me.
When you find a dream, you know, you just kind of
Right.
get married to the idea, and then you just kind of have to cut out other parts of your life. But I remember I looked at her, and we were driving. I had an old F-150 at the time. I've gone through a lot of cars and trucks, but I said, if I make X amount of dollars this winter, I am getting my dream truck. I was like, I have to. I was like, I just have to. Because if everything goes downhill, I at least can say I had it. And, you know, the best part is it isn't even my dream truck. It's just what I could get.
Yeah.
And I was just too pumped. I got it. And then I remember that was a good week for me. I bought 3 tractors in that truck, like back to back. Like every day I just went out and bought something.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a good week. But it was, I don't know. It's fun. Life is beautiful. People are great.
Yeah.
They're just interesting.
Yeah.
And they freak out at you and they lose it. And they forget that, like, I'm just a dude. Like, I'm just a dude. Like, I just do snow.
I'm just trying to figure things out.
Literally.
You know?
And, you know, you get customers that are like, oh, I see him out there. You know, he's got his back window open. Music's way too loud. I'm like, I'm 20 in a tractor listening to George Strait too
Yeah.
loud. Like,
Yeah.
at least I'm not doing coke in the bathroom of a high
Yeah.
school. Like, I'm not out here.
I'm doing your driveway for 10 minutes and I'll be gone. Like,
Yeah, like, I'm not doing anything, like, malicious to people. I'm not mean. They just seem to get this perception of you that is completely not true. And, like, I've heard it all. Like, this last week, I had one of my friends message me on Snapchat, and they said, just got my hair cut at a place in the valley. And I was like, okay. And they were just like, they would not stop talking about you. And I was just like, okay. And apparently some barber in the town was telling their whole store or whoever was there to never go with me. She's heard nothing but bad things and all this stuff. And that the week before, this is what blew my mind. And I still got to do some digging. There could be some truth to it. I don't know, because I did just let a couple people go. But apparently I was seen drunk doing donuts in my truck with the bed full of girls. Now, I am young, so I will say I wish. I wish I had time to do that.
Yeah.
But no, I'd like.
Sounds like a good event to me, but
Yeah, it sounds like whoever was in my truck doing that was having a great night. But no, and that's just like, and I don't know, maybe the story was because I let people use my truck. Like, it isn't always me in that truck. My staff that goes shoveling, they take the truck to shovel because I get in the tractor.
Right.
And they, maybe one of the guys that was out shoveling took it down there and just had their music loud, and somehow that story evolved. And when someone tells this person, tells
I
this
can
person.
support your story too, because my brother took a company truck one time and was doing donuts, dirt flying everywhere, it's just ripping around. Bosses found out. They, he got a good talking to, but it's just like one of those things. It might not be the person that owns that company. You know what I mean?
No, and it's like I'm not that dumb.
Yeah.
Like, my name is on the side of the truck.
Seriously.
Like, I'm not gonna go around doing that. And like, sure, if the town sees a guy rolling around town with pit vipers on, music very loud in that truck, that's probably me. But I just get fired up. I crank up music, and I need to be pumped. And that's honestly because I make music too, which is weird. But
Really? Do you play?
I play guitar, and I played a bunch of years of piano and stuff. But I make music, and all that too is stemmed back to tractors, because I would always listen. I forget, it might be by Eric Paisley or something, a song called Friday Night. It was like 2010. Like, if you search,
I feel like I've heard that.
It's a good song. But I just remember vividly the garage door in Amherst opening, and it was a snowstorm, and sitting in the tractor, starting it, and it was on the radio, and just singing my heart out. And ever since, like, I can't do snow without, like, part of the reason I didn't even drive my John Deere down here, to be completely honest with you, is because my FM transmitter was broken. Oh. And I didn't want to listen to the radio. And so
we were supposed to get 2 tractors in the background, and it would have been gnarly. But,
I couldn't listen to my Eric Paisley.
Yeah, and it was a 2-hour tractor drive. So.
Yeah, it would take a little bit. But it was, no, I liked having a good time. Like, if I'm going to be out there all night for 12 hours in a tractor, and even for me, it does get tiring. And doing a job like that, I got to make it fun. I got to make it fun for my guys. Like, if you see a group of small town dudes, we're the nobodies, we're the underdogs.
Yeah.
Like, we got a whole group of us out there, Carhartt overalls and Dunlops and, Vipers and mustaches, and boys are showing up to the yard in 4-wheelers, and like, we're shit disturbers. That's what we do since we were born. Like, we're the good old boys. Like, would you rather I don't know. People need to pick their poison, because they're always complaining that nobody's ever doing nothing, and then they're shooting the guy that's doing something. Yeah. And we're not for everybody. I understand that. Like, I don't ever want to be anything but me. Yeah.
But as long as you have a professionalism with your company, and when you're doing the job, I think that's all that matters.
And we lacked that. We lacked that big time. Because of all the receptionist issues, there was no professionalism, because when they would call whoever I had answering the phone at the time, whether it was X, Y, or Z, they just, I don't know why. Like, if I pick up the phone and go, "Hi, thank you for calling Dr. Snow. How can I help you today?" But no, these people are just like, "Hey," like, stuff like that. And like, I read some of their emails.
Like, just assuming you know what to say or something? Or?
I don't know. Like, in some of the emails, the way that they were responding to my customers, because I care about my customers. Yeah. That's how I keep my lights on. That's how I pay for my 1-bedroom apartment, is all these
Keeps
people.
You breathing, so.
Yeah, and they're the reason I have my tractors. So I'll do anything for them. But just some of the stuff, like, they would write this big email, and then my receptionist would just reply back with "K," and it's like stuff like that, where it's like, this is a job. Yeah. And I get this year, I had to pick how I spent my money, right? So this year was equipment because I had to. And as a 19, 20-year-old, you have to spend all of your money on down payments because cash flow's king. And with tractors, they might be $2,000 a month, which I'd be great right now if that was just the case. But because of your age, and you walk in there and they laugh at you.
Jack it up.
Yeah, and they're like, I want 30% down on every tractor. And 30% of $200,000 is a lot of money. And you got to do that times 6. And so you're like, I would have a couple $100,000 left if it wasn't for the down payments. And I'll never have that again. I built my credit and now I'm fine. But because of that, I could have had a shop. I could have had salary money to have a receptionist. I could have paid my guys salary, even though I still paid them pretty good. It's $25 an hour, $10 more than any other snow company in the valley. I'm still proud to say that.
Very good.
But it's just stuff like that. Like, it comes with time. And it, like, software. I couldn't afford the software that I'm going to have next year. My nicotine addiction went through the roof with it. It went through the roof. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
It's true. It's very, very true.
Yeah. Hey, you need a vice somewhere. Hey, that's better than Coke, though, right?
You'd be surprised, man. There's a lot of that stuff going on in snow. I've
Really?
never done it. I've never touched the stuff. No desire to. But there's a lot of it.
I believe it.
Well,
No,
because you're up for so long, and the guys, like, most of these guys, they work multiple jobs. So, like, I've had guys come in off work, and they've worked, like, 12, 13 hours, and then I'm asking them to do it again. And then they have to use their sleep time to do snow and go back to their other job again. So, like, they're hard workers. And that's the other thing. If someone's upset at me, don't take it out on my staff.
right.
I've had so much of that. People making my guys cry. And the customers don't see that because they'll come back to the yard
Then break down.
and they'll just break down. And
It's very tough. I did a dog walk company 2 years ago probably because I don't know, like, I've always did YouTube in the background, always just, like, had it, but I never wanted to leave, like, a job, and I still want to be comfortable and stuff. So anyways, I got a bunch of dogs and a bunch of customers and stuff, but dealing with people was never an issue. People were very friendly. I'd never had an issue with any of the dogs. I've even, like, I haven't lost a dog, but dogs have ran on me, and, like, they just run away. They do come back, but, like, you just lose them, and it's like,
worst case, you just go down to SPCA and get a little replacement.
right? Yeah, I swear he was pink, wasn't he?
That's my dog.
No, but I never had an issue with customers, but I'm really surprised that.
And you see,
People
it's when you scale. Like last year when I did snow, that's when my momentum really started. People loved me, because it was me.
Yeah.
And that's what people forget and that's why they signed up with me this year, because I built such a good name with my customers last year, because there was no staff. It was all me. Like, sure, it was still called Dr.Snow Removal, and I pretended to be a company.
Yeah.
But it was just me.
Is it Dr. Snow Removal because you wanted to be a doctor?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That was the whole point. And it was either, like, the way I see it is, I could be a doctor, and I still could be. That's what people don't realize either, is I'm giving up a lot here.
School's not going anywhere, so.
No, universities have been around forever, and I'm almost done my degree. I just need to go back for a term and a half.
Wow.
And I'm done. And then I just write my MCATs, which I'll pass, and I'll be fine. It's just, I like helping people in different ways. And if I can help someone and do something I love and be comfortable, that sounds like a win.
Yeah.
And that's the dream I'm going to go for.
Yeah.
Like, I got a lot on my mind. I got a wife I got to find. I got kids I want to raise. Like, I got a life that I'm trying to build. And like I said, my life is GTA.
No,
I'm playing this. Like, why am I going to go in a video game for 8 hours and get all the cars that I want? When I can just get it in real life.
Yep. What's the point of achievement on a screen when you can achieve it?
And like, I get it. Like, people want to lounge and whatever. I just think that like you said, I've never been big into video games.
No,
I
always
played a little bit of Fortnite when that came out, but that's pretty.
When I was in grade 12, I played a little bit of Fortnite as well, because nobody wanted to go outside and do anything. Yeah. So I was like, well, I guess I got to hop on this if I want to talk to anybody.
And it was fun. I've had some fun on that, like that video game or whatever, but recently my new thing is, like, I've sold my PS4. Actually, I sold my PS4 for marketing money for the business.
Nice.
Yeah, so I sold my PS4 and I sold that was it. But I sold my PS4 and all my social media is gone. I've gotten rid of that for
I searched you on Instagram, couldn't find you.
Nope, I'm
Didn't
nowhere
know where
to be
you
found.
went. Not even Dr. Snow?
Nope. I don't have any need for it, because I realized one day, I know this sounds mean, but I was just, sitting there on my phone scrolling, And then the weekly time report or whatever came up, told me how long.
Yeah.
And I was on my phone. I was like, that's
4 hours
sad.
or whatever it is.
Yeah, and then I looked at it again, and I looked back at my phone, and it was just some random person posting on Instagram, and I was just like, wow, I could care less what you're doing today.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, great, you got a dog. I don't care. I don't even know you. Like, I was like, I don't care. And then I scroll again, someone else. I'm like, I haven't talked to you in years.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I just post and ghost. I don't look at other people's stuff. If you went on my Instagram, I literally follow like some different companies.
Yep.
But I don't follow any person.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I just post these things and then I leave. I don't.
And it's the same thing. I mean, it was. I don't know. I just don't have. I don't have a lot of time for it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care what other people.
It is draining. It really is.
Well, it's the same thing. Like, I mean, I have no clue how we even met. I don't even remember. Like, did you? I
sent you the podcast. Well, what I do is on Snapchat, I send it to like random people.
Oh, okay.
And it just like spreads. And I don't know how it does it, but like random people will start adding. And then you message me and you're like, hey, I like what you're doing. Keep it up. And then you were like, I also do YouTube. And then I checked you out and I was like, oh, this is gnarly. I was like, I'd like to meet out. And then you were like, let's do this. And I was like, okay.
Oh, yeah, I get fired up. That's something to do with the TV show.
Yeah, that's gnarly. No, but I'm curious on what's your step forward now? Like, what do you kind of slow your roll a little bit? Or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm slowing right down. I wouldn't even be mad if I shrunk. I know that I can get big now, and I know what this idea can do. And I just feel like now I'm getting the harness on it, and I want to tame it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm taming a bull right now, and I gotta calm her down.
Yeah.
Let the fire calm down, because I started a forest fire, and I feel like now I got it back to a nice little bonfire that keeps me warm.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Yeah. when it turns into a forest fire, that's when it can burn you and kill a lot of people. So that's when it's like, okay, because I was dealing with a forest fire. Yeah, from a distance. Yeah. But whoever's the guy managing that forest fire is not so happy.
No.
But it's getting better now. And I'm gonna rope it back in, smaller tractors. I'm gonna cut, sorry to customers that are on the outskirts of town, but every one of you are cut for the time being, just so I can practice, what is my business model. And then I'm just gonna spend a year or two this size. I don't want to grow. Like,
that's good.
I could use I had this whole thing planned out. I was just like, do this year. Once I got it, I was like, okay, next year I'm going to hit Milledgeville. Year after, I'm going to hit Fredericton. Year after, I'm going to hit Moncton.
Wow.
And I was just like, I'm just going to go ballistic.
I mean, I'm glad for the ambition. I
still will. Like, I mean, just give me 2 years, and then I'll hit Moncton, and then I'll hit Milledgeville.
Just get a firm foundation.
Yeah, and that's what I didn't have. I didn't have the firm foundation. I didn't have the benefit of spending years. If I would have went 50 customers to 100 to 150, you slowly build the knowledge and the staff and the connections and the.
But when you jump right into 300 jobs.
Oh yeah, no, we were at 1,300. So we were at 1,300
for your first time.
Yeah, first year I went from 48 to 1,300 driveways, and then
wow.
Yeah, so I went to I think it's like just a bit over 1/6 or 1/7 of the entire population of the town I was servicing. And then, so that happened by the grace of God.
That's so gnarly.
I dumped half of them, subcontracted them out, thankfully. So I did that, and then I got myself down to a more reasonable, but 600. And then, dealt with that throughout the winter. And still, that's a lot of driveways that need to be done. 600 driveways. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and shoveling. It's a big operation.
I like what you said earlier was you had your dream. Yeah. You didn't realize what comes with the dream.
Yeah, I didn't. And now I just got to learn to love it.
Yep.
I didn't know the attention was part of the dream. I didn't know that the stress was part of the dream.
Yeah, the management,
the paperwork,
scheduling,
crunching numbers.
It's the same thing as this. Like, I know this isn't even a big thing yet, but I do.
It will be.
The snowball is created. I tell people that, like, the idea, the thing, the snowball has started. Now it's just like now it just has to get down the hill.
Yep.
But with that, it's like I'm setting up equipment. I hate dealing with cameras. I hate dealing with all this stuff.
Yep.
I love this. I love you, and I want to talk
and do all this.
But I hate the setting up. Pulled the tractor in here, pulled truck, pulled. Anyways,
you just want to be in this moment.
Yeah, that's but I don't like the dealing with your time, dealing with my time, scheduling.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It does.
Yeah.
But I love it so much that I don't care about all that as much. Does that make sense?
I like sitting in the tractor. I like selling. I like selling, and I like sitting in the tractor. And I don't like marketing. I don't like having to be a boss. I don't like waking up at 2 a.m. And everything doesn't work and you're freezing cold and you're freaking out, because snow anxiety is a real thing. Like, weather channels are so bad. They're so bad.
Really?
Like, they are so wrong. I never realized it till I got into this, like, snow racket. Like, there's so many times this winter that they would be, like, roughly 1 centimeter overnight. And I wake up and there's, like, 7. And I'm like, oh, my God. And then you're calling everybody. You're freaking out. You're losing your mind. And, of course, that doesn't benefit anything. Like,
so 1 centimeter, are you getting calls? Like, people need that plowed?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, it's pathetic, man. It's literally in all of my marketing. That's the one thing that I will not give people slack on. That's the only thing. It's in my marketing. From day one, I've stated, if it is less than 5 centimeters, we do not come.
Oh, okay.
And no matter what, if
there's a little
flake
layer
in the sky, temper tantrums just start erupting everywhere. I had one person,
and they want to make sure you're going to do the driveway.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You're going to be here, right, when this starts going?
And I'm just like, the best is the ones that when they're done. Like, the snow event's done, and you're sitting there with, like, 2 centimeters.
Right.
And they're like, when are you coming? I'm like, I'm not. Like, it's not part of the contract.
I was going to ask you, is that hard? Because when it's snowing, you want to get the driveways done, but it's just going to fill back up when you...
Yeah, and people don't get that either.
Really?
Because we can go out. The issue is yes, we are in the position where we could go out at midnight and have everything done by 5, 6 a.m. And then all of you, hypothetically, would wake up and have your driveway
Still
done.
have snow. Just a layer down.
But, yeah, and the reality is we're going to go out and do that. Plow trucks in the valley do not start hitting the roads till 4:30 in the morning, or 4 a.m. Some of them hit the road at 4:30, depending on if you're Rossi or Quispam. And then they start on the main roads, primary roads. Then they go to secondary roads. Then they go to tertiary roads. And guess where most of my customers are? Tertiary roads. Which means you're not going to be getting hit on that street till like 7, 8 a.m. And what's the point of me emptying out your driveway if what you're really paying us for is to get rid of that plow furrow?
Right.
Because 9 times out of 10, a vehicle can go over 5, 10 centimeters.
Yeah.
The issue is what that plow leaves. So I've made the call many times that we're going to wait and we're going to go out, but in normal work hours, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we're going to work all day. And that way, hopefully, we get there after the plow did.
Yeah.
And that way we can open it up, clean it up, and it's over.
Yeah.
But people didn't seem to like that at all. They would wake up and be like, the driveway's full. I'm like, yeah, but so's the street. Like,
Yeah.
look out. Like, it's everything. Like,
I know.
it's, like,
No, you're in a very, very hard position because I have... Actually, the guy that drives that truck right there, he plows our driveway sometimes. And I hope he's not listening because I don't really like the job he does. I look at him and I go, man, like they're narrow. Like
Yeah.
I always widen the driveway. I like it nice and wide, clear it up. I always take the shovel and clear it even wider because I hate when it feels narrow, those little walls. I just don't like it.
Yep.
So anyways, I understand you're in a very hard position.
Oh, it's really
very difficult.
And you're dealing with the bigger... I thought this was really funny. We're out there. We started, I think, right around that 4 a.m. We were at the lot at 2 a.m. This is a couple months ago. We're at the lot at 2. We wanted to go out. It was big snowfall, so we wanted to get ahead of it. Roads were full. Like, to the point where my truck and four-wheel drive was struggling to get down the road. So I was just like, there's not a point. Like, when the plows do hit the roads, there's going to be such a big wall of snow at the end of people's driveways.
Yep.
So I just said, okay. So I called a couple people I know that work for the town, and they were like, we're going out at 4, and we're going to start primary, secondary, then tertiary. And I was just like, okay. So then we went out after the plow truck passed our yard. So right when the plow truck passed where we set up shop, then we rolled out. And it wasn't even about 2 hours later, but 6:30 in the morning, we get a little ding, 1-star review. I'm like, what? And I knew, like, big snowfall, people are going to get upset. And I was just like, okay. And I read it, and they're like, 6:30 a.m., just got back from my night shift. Driveway still isn't done. Terrible service. Would never recommend. And I'm like, you paid the same as everybody else on my list. Every single person on here got paid the same. Yeah. And you, like, how am I'm sorry, I can't know your schedule, your husband's schedule, your cat's vet schedule, your kids' basketball practice times for hundreds of people. Like, everyone gets done. When we go out, we get everyone done in sequence. If you need to be out at a certain time and a specific time, if your job requires you to be out at a specific time, be ready to do one of two things: shovel yourself or pay more. Because we have something called a primary list. If you're on the primary list, then we get you done. And, you know, we had an issue with the primary list. At the beginning of the season, we had a lot of problems with it because I couldn't get people to do it at the time. They would
Did
say
a lot of people go with the primary list?
We only got like 30 or 40. Well, the price is way higher. Like a couple grand.
Wow.
It's a lot higher.
But it's worth it. But
then it's basically like this person says, I have to be out by 7 a.m. every day. And it's like, okay,
we will do that.
And it takes a lot because our shop is central, and some of these homes are way out.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to drive 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back just to do one house.
Wow.
So, and that's a lot of diesel.
That is.
So it takes time, and it takes money and wage and all those things. It's like $50 just in labor. And so, yeah, and then, you know, you got these people that are only paying $485 that are mad they can't get in their driveway at 6:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, well, we're working right now. I don't know what to tell you. It's like, we're out right now. You have your spot on the list. I'm not about to jump hundreds of homes to get to you first.
Yep.
Like, it's just not fair. And then the other customers go liking the review. They're like, yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, you paid the same. Like, you'd be mad if I wasn't in your driveway and I was doing her. Like, it's, I don't know. They need to make up their mind. And it's, people are interesting. People are funny. I love it. I love the people. And the best part is I know this winter is going to be something that they're all going to look back at and talk about someday because it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter of when.
Yep.
And I think it's now.
Good.
I'm ready for
I'm
it
glad.
now.
So you don't have anything to do with the summer or the fall?
No, I mean, this year, because of all the learning and stuff that happened, like, money's a bit more tight than I wanted it to be. So, like, we couldn't survive to next winter if I didn't do something this summer. So that's part of what the Irving deal's for. And then
that's a summer gig.
Yeah, we're trying to get something there. And then I got a couple mowers coming in that I bought.
Cool.
And I'm going to, get a couple mowing crews out. And I'm praying, fingers crossed, that goes better. It should. Because it's way smaller. Like, it's so much smaller. Like, we're only dealing with, like, 80 lawns, and I'm going to be overseeing all of them.
That'd be
so
nice.
it's just going to be me and one person that I trust, right? So
Cool.
it's going to be way, way better. And then I can get that core group of, like, 80 people very, very happy again. You know, butter them up and give them every reason to like me again because, I'm an approachable guy. I'm going to leave a good job. It's just give me the chance.
Yeah, let me make it right.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to do. And, like, I'm not scared of conversation or confrontation. Like, if people want to talk, I'm going to talk, and I'm going to do everything I can to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Like, you can mess up. Like, that stereotypical saying.
Yeah.
It's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you keep getting back up.
Keep going forward, yeah. How much you can take and keep going forward.
Yeah, it's motivational speech.
I do have a question. Why don't towns and cities get people to plow people's driveways?
I have no clue. That's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be that solution. I don't know why.
But why does it have to be a business type deal from a individual person?
No clue.
Is it just opportunity for people? Or
I have no idea why they don't. It could be the money on equipment. It could be anything, really.
Just ignore the forklift in the back.
I like it.
If you guys can hear that.
Music to my ears. No, it's weird. What I don't know is I don't know why the town is willing to work with guys like me more. Because if they could just sit with me at a table, we could bring and make the residents of their town so much happier.
Yeah.
Because if I just knew what plow trucks did what streets at what times, I could have tractors behind those plow trucks, and we would have the best service in town.
That'd be gnarly.
Like, it would be crazy because you would have a tractor going down the road following the plow truck. So right when you get buried, the tractor pulls in and clears you out.
Yeah.
So instantly the road and the driveway's done. Yeah. And that's what I want to do. But, they're not. Maybe someday. Maybe someday I can sit down when I'm older and more mature and they don't just think I'm a kid with an idea. I can sit down and actually discuss with them.
Do you have to get on board with the town?
I don't know.
To have a say?
Stefano, he just got it. My buddy that I was telling you about, he sat down and he convinced them that it was in their best interest to do it.
Yeah.
And he's now got the map of the town and all the schedules and everything.
That's nice. Yeah, I always wondered that. I was like, well, I know they plow the roads, but why wouldn't they just get a crew to come in? And they have a full-time job for the town or the city. Like, that's a good...
And town jobs are good jobs to have.
Yeah, they're good jobs to have. Secure jobs for a lot of men.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's women out there, but a lot of men.
It is like it's a pretty... I've employed a fair amount of people. I said like 40-ish this winter. And really it's made up of a lot of men. Mm-hmm. And I've had a couple women that have joined, but mostly in the receptionist side of the business. There's not many that are willing to get in the tractor all night.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't mean to degrade them at all.
No. And it's what's really funny. The girl that I'm dating right now, actually, she'll come out and hop in a tractor with me the whole night. And I was just like, this is wicked.
Sit in that little chair in there?
Oh, yeah. Sit in a little buddy seat. We go around. We do driveways, and she tells me where to go. And that's what I live for. Like, this is really just, like, these are the good old days in my brain. I'm trying to soak it up. Like, these are the good old days. These are the times that I'm going to remember. Like, I feel like I'm in a movie. Like, I get to sit there with a girl in my tractor, in my business, and, like, it's like I can't even, like, deal with it sometimes. Like, I sit there, I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, this is just surreal.
Who would have thought?
I know. It's crazy.
No, I'm really proud of you. I really am.
No, it's crazy. And what you don't realize, too, is like with this podcast thing, it can just go like that. It is not just a dream. And I've heard that so many times because I love Post Malone. He's so inspirational. And I watch so many of his videos, and he overnight he made White Iverson, posted it, and then woke up, and the numbers were through the roof. Mac Miller, Wiz Khalifa, everyone reposted it, and it was just like, wow. And then I was just like, I always wanted
banger music.
Yeah, I always wanted to be a rock star.
Really?
And so what is my version of a rock star?
Right.
And I think that's just,
what can I rock star at?
yeah. What can I rock star at? And for me, that's this, and for you, it could be this, and it's just, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have fun doing it. I'm gonna love it, and if people rock with it, then great, and if they don't, then bye. Like it's I'm just gonna keep doing me, and I'm gonna keep having fun and living the life that I love to live.
I love it.
Tractors, music, guitars. Like
and donuts in the back of the pickup with girls.
Yeah, in front of cask. Yeah, right drunk. That's me.
I tried to get them, guys. I tried to get them.
Yeah, that was me totally. Caught me.
Yeah. Well, I have the power of the editing, so
yeah, I'm at your mercy right now.
Yeah. No, I think we can wrap it there. I know the next half an hour is gonna go off soon, so.
Yeah, no, that was a good talk. It was
fun. I
fun.
appreciate it. Dr.Snow Removal, everybody, located in Rossay.
Yes.
Give him a chance, guys.
Give me a chance.
No, I really am proud of you. I'm glad that you're a 20-year-old kid, and I'm calling you a kid, but I'm a kid as well. I'm only a year, maybe a couple months older than you, and I'm just happy that you're just head first.
Head down.
It's like Kobe Bryant, like he said, like put all your eggs in one basket, because eventually, if that thing grows and blossoms, then you can put some other eggs in a different basket.
Yep.
I'm like, so true. Like if this thing can grow, I can start to do some other things somewhere else.
The one thing that I will leave on this note is I've told myself this a million times. If you devote 110% of yourself to an idea that you love and care about, you are never going to be outworked. Ever. Because if you are passionate about that idea, everyone else that's doing that same idea is doing it for the fame, the attention, the money. They're not doing it because they love the idea. If you love the idea, then you're never going to be outworked. You can't be, because
I like that.
You're in love with the idea. And if
some
it
extra
should
motivation
fail,
for me.
Oh yeah, and if it should fail, the best part is, if it fails, you are never going to have anything to regret, because you'll be like, there's nothing else I could have done.
Right.
And that's where I'm at. Like, I don't really care anymore, because what can someone say? Like, I can't. I'm not going to lay in bed at night and be like, oh, I could have done this, or if only I did this. No, I've done every single thing that I could. And
you dealt with the confrontation side, so now it's just
time to
what's
put my
next?
head down. And now it's spring again, man. Like this is time to put my head down, bully dog. Like this is game time. We get a little break in the weather, and before we know it's going to be winter again. And my stakes are going to be going back up, and people are going to realize that I didn't just go away. Yeah, which is what they wanted.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy for you. I really am.
Yeah, we do this like the Billie Eilish thing. Every year we have this podcast on the same day.
Yeah, at the end of every season.
Next year I'm just a hobo.
Yeah.
On like meth or something.
Guys, I had to upgrade my car. I went with Volkswagen again, but went with the Jetta instead.
Someday.
Yeah. No, I'm happy. I wish I could gift you this tractor.
Thanks.
Help you out. Yeah. That's one way to clickbait.
Yeah.
No, let's end it there. Thank you, Matt.
Good enough.
I appreciate it.
That was fun.
Boom, baby.